Hi guys, welcome to Sree Trading Buddies daily forecast. Let's start by looking into Nasdaq. Let's start with the daily. This would give us a better picture there. We did cover this in the last few days that after the liquidity is taken in here is the end of March, then it went all the way back up the last 20 days. And now where are we in terms of daily? This was Friday, all-time high. Monday was an inside bar. Tuesday it did wake up. It was looking like the market would go all the way back up, but it did not. And today, when the market opened, it's totally an inside bar. Um, so we need to wait for the market to show its price action, whether it wants to go up or it wants to go down. So let's go to the 4 hours. It's better to look into the 4 hours because there are more candles there. So if you see here, all-time highs, liquidity taken, back down, slowly crept up. Again, liquidity taken in here, then crept up, liquidity taken, then came down. Then you can see again one more time liquidity is taken and then it's going back up. So it's for me, I can put that into a box. So which means that for me, this is not the ideal price action, but remember these are pretty big time frames, daily and 4 hours. So which means out of those daily and 4 hours, there will be some pockets of time where the price would have just given you a little bit to go, get a bit breather there, and then get your whatever the chunk and then come out, right? It's definitely not feasible to trade the whole day or all these 4 hour chunks, but there are definitely some places where you could go in quick and then come back and you could have taken some money there. So it's a little trickier. The price action has not been that trendy, so I'm hoping that a lot of people would have actually lost on that. Yes, there are a lot of posts there stating that people were able to make a lot of money, but I'm assuming that there are a lot too which would have lost money, especially given that this is the price action here, right? So since Sunday to Tuesday and Wednesday, Asia Open already started. So this is not ideal price action, but if somebody is doing just ranges and whatever, maybe they might have made some money. But anyway, look into the hourly. You can clearly see I did mark this fair value gap in here. So we need to wait for the market to come back into this, reject, go back down, or flush through, get an inverted FVG, and then go all the way back up into the all-time highs. So that's the game plan in here. Not much to do now because this has to either go up or go down and it needs to show the hand. For now, there's nothing there that I'm doing. I'm just waiting because it's in the middle, exactly at this region. We don't know what it's going to do, whether it's going to wick, go up, wick, and then come all the way back down to the sell side or go to the all-time highs on the buy side. So be patient, wait for the market, and let's see. The important things that I would really look into would be midnight open, 2 o'clock, pre-market London, and pre-market New York, and of course New York open. So these are some of the things that really want to note down, especially if there are bombastic moves in the market just before the New York open, then it's a different story. But if it's touch and go, then we got to wait and watch for the ultimate price action because it's at the end of the day, I think accumulation, manipulation, and distribution, AMD. Um, it's clearly visible here. So I'm hoping that the same would actually come out and we could see some much better price action. So that's on Nasdaq. Now let's get to the ES on the daily level. Same thing. This was Friday. This was Monday, Tuesday. and you could see that ES, ES, now this is the distinction that you would have to look into. Nasdaq did take out this, so let's go back in here onto the daily. Daily, here we go, daily. So this is, the high is 26,901. This one is, the high is 26,884. So Nasdaq did take this high, but ES did not. Okay, that's a very important aspect. Okay, when you're looking into. So if this did not, then is the market actually coming down? If that is the case, that's an interesting ploy, because ultimately, yes, Nasdaq might have taken the highs there, but it does follow ES, so which means that if ES is actually heading down, then you'd be looking into the same direction. So now, yesterday and day before, when we were looking into the forecast, we were looking into all these fair value gaps, inefficiencies that are laid out, but I would not believe or imagine that, the market is actually going down unless the closure is well below this or even this, to be frank, right? Because all this while we are seeing those inside candles and inside bars, so I really want a proper closure down below, and that would really emphasize to me that the market is actually trying to go down. Until then, there's not much really that you can do. Let's look into the 4 hours just to see if there's anything there. The one possible nice visible candle here would be this 4 hour fair value gap. So on this 4 hour fair value gap there, that's nice fair value gap, followed by a lot of inefficiency in here, a lot of inefficiency in here, which it is trying to fill. So market might go all the way back up here, and how this reacts to this particular place would really determine if it flushes through, and obviously it becomes an inverted fair value gap and all the way to all-time highs. Maybe that's what it wants to do. Um, you can clearly see that liquidity taken. So whew, there is a lot happening there. So if you look into these, and what is the low? The low is 7085. Look into this, and the low is 7085. So it's an absolute cracker here on both of these candles, exactly to the T there, 7085. So um, that's interesting. So for me, if really I want to take a trade in here, and if the market is actually moving, what I would do is look for a setup where the market is at least touching this fair value gap in here. What happens after that is definitely nothing that we could say, but at least we are looking at 8 to 10 points there. Okay, that's cool. That's interesting. Okay, 10 points there is definitely well worth it here. 8.75 points. Okay, so definitely I'm looking into this area, and as I am as I'm talking to you, let me just take a small TBD here. Okay. Okay, that's 1:1, but of course, the one thing that I'll do is I will set up an alert in here. If the market is actually going down, I'm not going to waste my whole $97 there. So what I'm going to do is get out. Okay. So that's one thing. That's market is just falling through, so there's not much really to think. But in case, if it doesn't want to, but there are no obvious liquidity areas. Yes, there is in here, but this is an intermediate one. So I'm really looking at either this or this, but my whole point is this. So we'll see how the market really reacts to that. So that's one. Then that's about it, really. There's not much to say anything about ES, so let's wait and watch how the market really reacts to that, and we'll go from there. That's on the ES and Nasdaq. Now let's get into gold. Right, here we go, GC. So here we go, GC on the daily. Yes, you got to excuse me here for all of this, because as you know, I trade gold a lot, so there's a lot happening in here. I need to clear up these because I think it's been a while, but I won't really utilize this call now for doing that because it will only increase the video quality there. So what's happening? So on the daily level, yeah, we did look into this. This was last week, Friday. It did take liquidity and then came all the way back down, then came down, then settled somewhere in the middle. So that's about Friday. Monday, it did take liquidity from here and settled a little up. So that's interesting. But Tuesday, gold did get to these levels. What are these levels? If you look into the 4 hours, you can see that there's a nice gap there. So the gap is totally taken out and the market came all the way back down, right? And this is one thing that I really wanted to point out that, yeah, so this is the sell side, okay? Sell side 4 hours. So sell side 4 hours, liquidity taken, and it's moving all the way back up. That's on the 4 hours. So if on the 4 hours it's moving up, so on the lower time frames, it could be moving down actually, right? So yeah, see, that's exactly what is happening. So market is trying to move down. I typically don't want to really put in those fair value gaps and all. At least go back to 5 minutes because that's the least. Actually, people go even to the 15 minutes in here. So when you get to the 15 minutes, you can clearly see this is what was happening. So one good thing that you should see is this is the fair value gap. It's a huge one, right? Huge one. Exactly hit the consequent encroachment here and then all the way back down. Liquidity taken, liquidity taken, liquidity taken. So it's going up now. The way that it is going is you can see all these bullish candles followed by a little bit of pullback and all the bullish candles. So market is heading in a different direction there. It's a nice recovery that is happening. We are into 4,700s again. Where should we look into? Right. So here, if you see, this is the most recent high, followed by the, and this is on 15 minutes, okay? So with gold, at least 15 minutes makes sense. If you can do much further, that'll be great. But anyway, so market did flush through this and it's going up. And I don't think it'll stop there. It'll go all the way back up here, but we'll see. That's on gold. So I'm thinking that the market will reach these levels or even further in here because there are a lot of inefficiencies there that's happening. So it's pretty interesting on gold really, and with Nasdaq and ES doing whatever that it has to. See, this is ES and it's going good, I would say. So we're doing great. I'll leave it. I would not really want to keep checking those because that's not how we do. So that's good. So that's about gold really. On the daily, you can see that the market is trying to go back up, especially the ceasefire talks and so and so. Um, so have to wait and watch for the market, and this liquidity taken out is clear upside really for me, and that's about good. Now CL, wind in. Let's look into CL here. So CL, you can clearly see CL is just lagging behind here because of course it's ceasefire, so there's not much to do with CL, and it can relax a bit because it did take a lot for CL to get manipulated, so it got manipulated a lot. Oil rises on Strait of Hormuz likely remaining closed, so that's what is the news there at 9:10. Alert NQ, that's good. So there's an alert that everything's happening in here, so phew, that's cool. Um, what's the alert about? Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, this is the area that I was targeting um, during the MOC, but market didn't really react to that, so I just left it. So anyway, so we are not looking at that. So we were looking into CL, and CL is just languishing here. We need to understand whether it wants to do something or not, but there are a lot of inefficiencies there as moving. Um, but I don't think I would want to see anything there. And CL is on the 15 minutes, you can clearly see is like going down. So that's a good sign. Okay, because oil going down, it's good. So immediate is the sell side in here that you can look into. The other way around is, so on the 15 minutes, sell side, sorry, buy side taken here, liquidity taken, and come back in here, get to these levels, and one more time, and then boom. So you're looking at least these levels in here on CL. Yeah, so that's where the immediate target lies on 15 minutes. So can we get a CL, WTI, whatever it is, yes, I think so. Yeah. So whatever works, I think that's what we really need to take. Okay, remember that, and oof, 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 oof. Yeah, the way it's going, I won't be surprised if it just it drops down. But with that kind of volatility, I don't want to really do anything there. So I'll wait for the market. So that's about CL. Let's go back and put this GC there because I don't do too much of CL there. It's only to understand the different markets. So that's about it. Yes, Nasdaq. I think to summarize, we're going to look into the midnight price and the other London Opens and pre-market New York. GC, I think there's going to be a lot of movement there, especially it's already up almost close to 1% there. It's 0.90, so pretty interesting. And Nasdaq and ES going pretty good, I would say. So ES is doing pretty well, and we'll see. I'll closely monitor the trade that I actually took in here. So that's $30 up. So that's not bad, really. So want to close this out at 200, really, but let it run if it wants to. Who cares, really? So let's get this back to break even. If it takes me out, it takes me out. But at least that's a free trade in case it doesn't come back. So that's about it, really. Markets are trying to go. So just need to be very careful, have risk properly in place. Stop loss is definitely needed. And take care. See you all again for the next forecast. Thanks. Cheers.